Quinn.
Nice to meet you, Coach. We talked to Tommy Shepard yesterday, and he specifically talked about the defense and you coming in and trying to establish some type of identity, and that's on that side of the floor. What was your assessment of the defense last year, and what do you look to specifically pinpoint this year in order to improve the team's defense?
Well, I don't want to get into kind of, what they did or didn't do last year. I think that's unfair on some level because I wasn't here. And it's easy to look at things through a certain lens and say, well, the metrics and the stats say this. That doesn't mean that's what's being taught. So I think it's a little unfair to cast any indictment. But the numbers are, you got to own that. So there are certain areas that we can improve on, and defensive side of it is for sure an area of concentration. I think the overall thought of it being a mindset, it's not just on one person, that, this has got to be a part of who we are, what we are daily. And I think if we lay that foundation, guys buy in, you'll start seeing the benefits of that.
And what would you say has maybe impressed you the most about the group that you have currently with camp right around the corner?
Oh, I just think the commonality that they've shown. I think they're all eager to get started. They've shown that their willingness to play the right way, that they're competitive, but they compete with composure, that they push each other. And I think, they're starting to, hold each other accountable. And that's even before we've really put, any schemes in. So it's great that they're starting to communicate on the floor, figure it out, and talk it out amongst themselves. I think the really good teams do that. If it always has to come from myself or one of my bench staff, you're only going to be so good. I think that the more they, take the reins and put the onus on themselves and each other, the better your team will be.
Thank you, sir.
Christos.
Hello, Coach. Hope you're doing well. What result will make you satisfied at the end of the season overall?
Can you repeat the question? I apologize.
Yes. What result will make you satisfied at the end of the season overall?
Well, I think it's, from an internal view, it's, and I've said this before, are we getting better? Coach Malone always used to say it, and we kind of look at each other, in a weird way, but you're either getting better or you're getting worse. And I think that's true because, everyone else is having the same meeting on Monday afternoon, Monday evening. So our mindset is, let's not just talk about it. Let's be about it. Let's live it. And, I don't know if that translates into X number of wins, but you'll know it. You'll feel it. And obviously we'll have the feel and a pulse of that group. And I think the more buy-in you get, the earlier that happens, you'll start seeing it, coalesce at the right time.
And also, how important for you is to have a player like Bradley Beal, and what is the most challenging part for you to have a player like him?
Oh, he's multifaceted. He's one of the most dynamic offensive players in the game. I think what's lost is his defensive acumen. He has the ability to do it. And, I think sometimes the burden for him offensively was so high in past seasons that it took a little bit out of him. But to have the depth, the flexibility that we have, I think it gives him an opportunity to take possessions off on the offensive end. So, maybe that gives him the legs and the energy to do it on the defensive end as well. You hope also that that depth will maybe reduce some of his minutes and his workload. So now he can be fresher at the end of games, be fresher going into March and April. And, you're making your playoff push.
Zach.
Hey, Coach. Great to see you again. I have a Rui-related question. I think you could say that Rui's had a very solid amount of starting experience and production in his first two seasons. What's the next step in his progression, do you think?
Well, I think, anything, after, year two, this experience with the Olympics has been a tremendous thing for him. He actually could take the reins of that group, be the focal point of them for them offensively, probably be the voice for them in the locker room. So that's going to expedite his maturation, which I think will be a tremendous help to this group. It kind of bleeds right into the point I just made with our flexibility and depth. You got another guy who's, been there, done it on a high level. Although he's young, he's played in significant minutes on a high stage. So that opportunity, that experience, you can't simulate that. So I think it'll pay dividends for him individually and also for us as a group.
Thank you.